Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are. So this is Napoleon and my last filming for a little while because all the kids are back at school next week. So we'll do a film every couple of weeks just to check in base. So today is on One-Point Perspective. Now I'm going to have two different levels, sort of grade 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6 if you want to do a little bit more advanced. So let's put Nip down and let's get started. So Napoleon, you go over there on your spot. Come on, pick it up. Good boy. Now I did a slideshow for both the different one-point perspectives, and I'm going to play this at the end so you can have a look yourself. So these are photos. One-point perspective means there's only one main point that everything leads to, and it helps make your picture look 3D, so it's going in deep. This here is what we call the horizon line, and this is the point that you're drawing to. So all these photographs. So these are famous paintings, these two. Back there is the point perspective, one point that it's all leading to, and that helps it make it look 3D. And this is Vincent van Gogh's bedroom that looks like it's all drawing inwards. And this one here, the point perspective goes back there. So to start with, you always need a horizon line. So if you haven't done this before, this is a real basics. And I even think my 5-6ers should practice the basics. So I always say the best place to think about a horizon line is on the beach. That's the horizon line. So we'll need to draw a horizon line and a vanishing point. So I'm going to do that now. I might do it in a texter so you can see. So if I make any mistakes, oh well, so be it. Hey, Nip. All right, so straight as you can. Remember, we're just practicing to start. All right, I've got my horizon line. You can have your vanishing point anywhere. It doesn't even have to be in the middle. Why don't I move it over a bit this time? This is one I did before, and I've got a stop motion, not stop motion, time-lapse motion thing that I'm going to put in for that too. So I've got my horizon line all the way over there. I say always just start basic, and then you can always do more drawings in advance, but it's good just to practice to start with. So I'm just going to do a road that goes off into the distance, and if you do the lines down the middle, any lines that go this way that are vertical have to be straight. That's just one of the rules, they have to be straight. So I'm going to do tiny little lines in the road that slowly get bigger as they get towards you. Now that's another rule in this sort of drawing. Anything that's closer to you is bigger. Okay, so we've got our, oops, I've skipped ahead a bit, horizon line, vanishing point, and I've drawn the road in. Now I didn't have a rubber to do the dots, that's for that one. Now, don't you love my trees and buildings? I only had shapes. So when you do things along the side of the road, the one closest to you has to be the biggest, and they get smaller as they go down. But see, remember what I said? Anything that stands upright or is vertical has to be straight. So if I draw a tree in the foreground, the trunk looks better if it's straight. It helps with the look of it. And as I do my trees further and further away, they get smaller and smaller. Now, you can do whatever you want. You might do, you don't have to do trees. You might do buildings. You might do animals that start big and get smaller. You can do whatever you like. Come sit down, Nip. You make me nervous when you're on the edge. Alright, so see how my trees have started bigger and then go smaller. Now, if I wanted to do a fence, it needs to also go to my vanishing point, like so. But all your posts have to be straight. Oh, straightish, Miss Anne. Not perfect, but you know, we're practicing. So anything that goes down that way, like that. Might even put, you know how there's a like little side bit to the road. So I want you just to have a play around and be imaginative. You could do, you know, ponds, little dams, whatever you like. And if you do, like I did before, sheep, you might want to do like a big one close up. Oh, that's an interesting sheep, Miss Em. But as you get further away, they get smaller. Oh, the tiny little ones down there, Nip. Wonder what you would do, Nip, if you saw a sheep. You might do a little farmhouse. Now, if you want it 3D, the square here sounds crazy, but you need the side. Getting a bit technical, but all right. Now, anything closer to you is bigger, anything moving away is smaller. Then anything on the horizon line is flat. So you can do you could even do a city, a far away. Oh, it's a big city, Miss M. That's in the distance. City in the far, far distance. But you might do mountains, whatever you want. No rules. Whatever you want. There's a city on one side. You could even do sun over there, and do, or you could do a sunset there, clouds, whatever you want. Okay, and then you can colour in. I did a short one like that, but you don't have to do trees. You could do whatever you wanted. That's just, the main thing is do a road leading away and do your horizon line and your vanishing point, and then just practice from there. Okay, so these are some that kids have done. So have a look here. Because that post is vertical, it has to be straight. That says Sydney that way. And then the posts here get smaller and smaller, and so do the lights. This here, this cactus is bigger and they're smaller. That's a nighttime one. Okay, same with this. See this tree here the kids have drawn, bigger, then it gets smaller. The fence down that side, beautiful sunset. The cactus is bigger here, smaller there. The lines, better and smaller. So just have a really good play around. All right, so that is for the juniors. I want you to practice that. Where did my other one go? All right, I'll show you myself. So the other one, that if any grade 6s, I don't know if the grade 5s have practiced that, but if you have practiced that before and you want to advance yourself in 1 point perspective, I'll give you a quick go at how to draw 1 point perspective, help 1 point perspective draw 3D boxes, which is really fun, and then you can turn them into other things. And I've got a video on there that I'll show at the end that will help you as well. But let's just have a quick go now, and I'll just remind you of a few things that you have to remember. Now, again, we need a horizon line. For this, you have to be a little bit more particular. So I'm going to try and get that as straight as I can. Grey lead is better for this because I'm trying to get it straight. Now, down here, I need to draw a square. Now, the sides and the tops have to be parallel, so it means exactly the same distance apart. And to do that, I'm actually going to measure from the bottom. Now, I'm not usually a measure sort of person. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants type person, but for this, I need it to be really right. So, because if you don't get your box right at the start, then it's not going to work. I'll just do, and the good thing is draw faint lines. And I'm going to make my box 5 centimetres. And this again, the more you practice, the better it is. So I've done those lines really lightly. Now I'm going to make it 6 centimetres there. I'll just show you what I mean, why it has to be exact, because otherwise it won't work. Your illusion won't work. Alright. Might have to measure that to see if that's right. Looks a bit higher on that side. Oh yeah, 5.1, miss him. Take it down a bit. It's crazy how just a little bit makes all the difference. Yep, and down all the way. So, alright, so I've got my square. That's the most important part, is to get your square. So these two have to be parallel, the same distance apart. Oh, a bit of maths here. And these two have to be the same distance apart. So I've got that 6 centimetres and that 5. Now, horizon point, you could have it right over there if you want it more at an angle, or wherever you like. So that's where all these lines are going to lead to. So you go from this corner in, and just lightly, because you don't need, you're going to rub some of these out later. That's a big mistake some people make when you do your lines too dark or a bit further over. And then this one. You're learning a lot today, Napoleon. Been a while since I've done this. And from the dot. Alright. Then, like the, see, look how cool that looks. Like the other one-point perspective, you have to have your lines this way, have to be vertical. I'm going to make my box. It has to be straight that way. And it has to be straight this way. So the distance between here and here, look, I'm sort of measuring it from that. Okay. There we go, there's my box. So much fun. It just takes a bit of practice. There we go. And then you can rub the other lines out. I'm going to show you that again. And then you can rub these ones out. Look at that. And then you've got a 3D box. Pretty amazing. Let's do that again quickly because it's a bit hard to get your head around. So again, I'm going to draw a square on this side. I'm measuring from the side just so I know that it's going to be parallel, like it's going to be a real square. What measure from there? Who would have thought, Miss M? Perfect. Alright, looks like that's going to be a square. Oh, it's all right. Up. Napoleon the guard dog. Shh. All right, that 5. Nip, it's all right. Shh. Right, then we go from here. Shh. I think it's Ruby. Here. I think this has still got a squeaky in it. All right, so we go from there to there. Or is it the wind, Nip? It's been windy all day. Napoleon. Oh. Shh. All right. Should go from the corner. My goodness. Alright, then straight. This has to be straight. So I'm sort of looking at that line there and that line there. And then you go from here down. I sort of checked that straight there. And there we go. And then you can rub the rest of that out. I always sort of go over the box part to make that darker. And then we've got these cool boxes. 3D boxes. Now these could be like shops and houses. If you did that, you would have to put any lines going this way would have to be straight, and these ones have to lead to your vanishing point. Okay, so if that's the door of the shop, that one's not quite straight. You can tell that's not quite right. See, like that. Then you put a window here, and this could be even like your other one. This could be your road leading out of town. Dodgy lines, but you know what I mean. And then you rub this out. But that anyway is how you draw a 3D 1-point perspective box. Now I'm going to put at the end of this, I'm going to put the slideshows, and we're going to put the time lapse. Come on, come and say goodbye. Come on, up, come and say goodbye. Oh, Mr. Protector. So all I can say with 1-point perspective is just practice. Don't get upset if it doesn't look right to start with. Even I had to have a practice before I filmed because I hadn't done it for a while. Practice, practice, practice. So on the slides, I've broken it down really simply. Use a grey lead because it's easier to rub out, and have some fun. Don't be too hard on yourself. And I can't wait, Napoleon, we can't wait, can we, to see the results. Oh, he's on the guard dog mode. So thank you for watching us the last few months, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye. Okay, as I showed you before, this is 1-point perspective photos. So this here is the horizon, and that is your 1 point that everything, all your lines lead towards. So it makes it look three-dimensional. So there's the horizon there, and that's your 1 point there that all the lines lead to. Horizon's hard to see on this one because it's behind the trees, but it goes across there. There's your 1 point there. These are famous paintings that the 1 point is back there that everything leads to. This makes the room look 3D. Here it is here. So first thing you need to do is draw your horizon line. This is like the horizon line. Most common you think about is at the beach, in the ocean. And then you need your vanishing point. Then you draw your road in. I drew, when I did mine, you know, the small lines getting bigger, but I didn't have the ability to do that. It took too long. Add houses, trees, animals, anything. Just make sure that they're bigger when they're closer to you, and they slowly get smaller as they move away. So my cows are bigger, smaller as they move away. And then you can add a city, sunset, mountains, anything in the background. These are some drawings that children did, really basic ones, but really good. Just to start with the road down the middle, see how their lines have got bigger. Their lamp posts have as big and go to small. Anything, this is the main thing to remember. And when the grade 6s did this last year, if their trees and posts weren't straight, they looked like they were falling over. It has to be straight and vertical up that way. Even things like that. See, their cactus is big, getting small. Cactuses here, big, smaller. Trees here, straight and getting small there. I probably would have done that horse a little bit small, but you know, we don't worry. All right. Now this one. So this is the one for if you want to really get advanced. Some of the big kids who have done the roads before. So horizon and vanishing point again, and we're going to learn, I showed you in the video about the box, how to make that 3D. So horizon line, okay, so eye level, and then you do your vanishing point, vanishing point. It doesn't have to be in the middle, maybe to the other side. So this was important. Your square has to be perfect, otherwise the rest doesn't really work. So you know how I go on and on and on about nothing in art, there's no right or wrong. With mathematic ones there actually is. So sometimes there is. So these two sides, the orange ones, have to be the same distance apart, and that one. So you draw your box first, then you draw your lines to your vanishing point. Remember, when you're doing them in grey lead, do them nice and light so you can rub them out later. And then you rule across there and there. So this is a different one where you can actually see inside the box. That's a whole nother step. This is where I would start and rub those out. See how it doesn't look right when they're not straight. See, that line should be straight across there and that one should be straight down there. Makes it all look really not right. So, very important. Notice how these final lines are parallel. These ones there. How cool is that? So that is basically what we just did, but they turned it into something. So you would rub all these out and that's what makes these look 3D. Super cool. You can pause this anytime you need to too. All right, so good luck and just have some fun. Thank you.